Today I went to school, right? And it's Friday. It's literally the Friday right before spring break. So it was like the last day before spring break. So I'm hyped up or whatever. And I'm chilling. And basically, I'm in second period. And for my second period, I have business class, right? So I'm sitting down. I have my laptop open. And the teachers aren't doing, they're not doing shit before spring break. So all we're doing in second period is just watching this fucking TV show. It's called Undercover Boss or some shit. Some like business shit that the teacher put on because we're in business class, so whatever. I'm chilling, we're watching the show, so I'm in a pretty good mood, basically. And, I'm just sitting there on my laptop, whatever. I look to my right. So I'm looking at the screen, I'm looking at Undercover Boss. I look to my right, and there's this woman, right? And I look at her screen, her laptop screen. She was facing away from me, so she didn't see me looking. But I looked at her screen and it said Jurassic Park on it. And I was like, oh shit, this woman's watching a TV show. Or this was a TV show. You might think it's the movie. It wasn't a movie. It was some like cartoon shit, whatever. I don't know what the fuck it was. But basically, I look to my right and she's watching it. And then I look at my screen and basically, I have my headphones in. I'm listening to fucking business shit, like marketing, business. I'm just watching these fucking videos on YouTube, and I'm thinking to myself, like, God damn, bro. Like, this guy's watching a TV show, this guy's watching a TV show, and I'm sitting here. I'm the only one in this class watching business shit. And I was like, holy shit, Am I the only one doing this? But, since I'm a retention or whatever, I'm feeling a little bit good. I'm chilling right now. And, the whole day today, I live in Maryland. Today was raining all fucking day, bro. It was like gray as shit. But honestly, deep down, I felt kind of fulfilled. But, anyways, you might not think this has anything to do with quitting, relapsing, or semen retention, but I'm going to connect to it in a second. Anyways, I go to third period. So the period right after the one I was just in. And basically, I'm sitting down. I just get into class, and I'm in a great mood. Like I said, even though it's gray outside or whatever, I'm fucking happy. I'm upbeat because spring break is right around the corner, and I'm hype as shit. So basically, I'm dapping up my friends. I'm like, yo, what's good? What's good? Like, and I'm hyping them up. I'm like, yo, what's good? Spring break. Yeah, I'm like in a great mood. I'm like, spring break. I'm hyping up my friends, basically. So I'm doing this, and I'm dapping up people. And one friend, we're gonna call him Jackson for the sake of this video, because if I swear to God, bro, if this guy watches the video, I'm cooked. I'm cooked, bro. But we're gonna call him Jackson. Alright, so Jackson, I'm sitting down on my desk. I'm facing the front of the class. Jackson walks in the door. He's walking up towards me, and he's like, "Yo, what's good, Abu?" That's my name. He's like, "What's good? How many times did you goon on Eid?" I was like, what? So basically, I reacted to that. I laughed it off a little bit. I was like, haha, whatever. Because it was funny. It genuinely did make me laugh, but I really thought about it. Basically, Eid is like some holiday, some Muslim holiday. I'm Muslim. So he was like, how many times did you goon on Eid? I was like, haha. I was like, I haven't gooned in a while. That's what I said to him. I don't think he believed it, but it's true. I haven't gooned in like a whole lot of fucking time. You know what I mean? So, oh shit. I've been gooned on a whole lot of time, you know what I mean? So, basically, Jackson sits down, but I really sat there, and I was thinking to myself, this guy just made a joke about gooning. I'm like, what the fuck? So I'm sitting there, I'm watching business videos, I'm disciplined as shit, because that's my identity, bro. I basically have gone through 4 years of crazy ass relentless back and forth trials when it comes to semen retention, bro. I would go on long streaks, I would relapse, I would suffer. I'll go on relapsing cycles like every 1 week, like two. I'll go every 2 weeks. I'll relapse type shit. So basically, I was going through this 4 years, and finally, I got to this point where I'm like, oh yeah, I finally have a good amount of control over my brain. If I get an urge, I'm not gonna monkey brain my way out of this, like fucking milk myself immediately. But basically, I'm thinking to myself, wow, I'm so disciplined compared to these people. And I'm not saying I'm better than them, but I'm just saying that that's who I identify as. I'm a disciplined individual. When I think of myself, when I talk to myself in my brain, you have that voice in your brain. I'm like, yeah, I'm a disciplined guy, right? And I thought to myself, this guy Jackson came up to me, he was like, haha, how many times did you goon, haha. Why is he telling me that? That really reflects back onto himself. Like, it's almost as if he identifies as a gooner. Then I got to thinking, I started connecting the dots or whatever, and I'm like, you know what? A big reason why I was able to take control of my brain and stop relapsing and stop milking myself, stop being a degen, stop disrespecting God, stop doing all that fucking BS. The reason why I was able to do that is because of how I identify as. And I'm not saying I identify as like a gender. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about here is how I look at myself deep down. Now, when I was relapsing, and this was pretty recent, maybe a few months ago, and basically I'm relapsing, I'm going 1 week, relapsing, 2 weeks, relapsing, and basically I can't get out of this loop. I just keep on relapsing over and over and over again until I scoured the fucking web like fucking Indiana Jones. I was looking for the answer. I was like, I'm so fucking tired of relapsing. I feel like shit. My life is ass. I have no energy. I'm depressed, bro. Everything's gray. It's going bad. And then I come across this video, right? And basically it's talking about identity and how you look at yourself. And it's talking about the placebo effect too. Now, the thing about the placebo effect, if you don't know, I'm going to briefly explain it to you in 30 seconds. The placebo effect is when you think something is true, so your brain reacts to it. So let me make this very simple. Scientists, they conducted a study. This is a real study. They gave 2 different participants a pill. One of them was a Tylenol. Gave it to person A, and then person B, they gave a sugar pill. But okay, so look, person A, he takes the Tylenol, boom, his fever goes down, whatever. Person B, he takes the sugar pill. Now, this sugar pill, it's not supposed to work. It's not supposed to lower their fever or anything, alright? But this person B, was told it was Tylenol. So what he's expecting to happen is that his fever will go down. So basically, he took the Tylenol, which is like Tylenol, sugar pill, and his fever still went down. And the fucking scientists' minds were blown. They're like, holy shit, this guy just used the power of belief and fucking lowered his fever and actually made an impact. His brain actually believed it was gonna work. So some type of biological process happened in his body, chemicals were releasing, and it lowered down his fever. Isn't that incredible? Now, this is not fucking wishy-washy voodoo. This is fucking scientifically proven. If you believe something is gonna happen, your body's gonna go into a process. It's gonna start imagining that, alright? It's gonna start imagining that thing is gonna happen, you know what I mean? Fuck. I never turned on my light. I'm such a fucking unprofessional, bro, but whatever. If your body believes something is gonna happen, it's gonna happen. So if you believe you're one guy, if you believe you're a gooner and you're fucking relapsing over and over again, and you believe that you're not capable of going on a long streak, then that's what your body's gonna act like. The reason why you keep relapsing is because you gotta identify as someone completely fucking different, bro. Every single one of these YouTubers, they get on the camera, they're like, look, in order not to relapse, you gotta take a deep breath. Oh, no fucking way, you gotta take a deep breath. That's all you gotta do, and magically, your fucking rock hard boner just disappears into thin air. No, bro. The problem is, when you're not gonna be thinking about that shit. You're fucking on rock mode. Your fucking heart is fucking palpitating. It's fucking about to fly out of your chest. You're horny as shit, bro. You haven't fucking had casual sex. You haven't gooned in months. And now all of a sudden, you're on rock mode, you're freaking out. And then, deep breath, bro, it's not gonna fucking do anything, man. Like, what? You're not gonna be thinking about taking deep breaths at that moment? That's why it doesn't fucking work. So what you gotta understand is, all these fucking bandages, that's what I call them, bandages. Taking a deep breath when you're on rock mode is not gonna fucking help you that much, man. You gotta kill this addiction. kill this at its fucking core, bro. And the way you're gonna do that is by completely changing how you see yourself, by completely shifting your identity, alright? And the way you're gonna do that is by actually doing things that you're proud of. So if you're a fucking lazy bum and you're relapsing, go out there and go start hitting the fucking gym, right? Once you start hitting the gym, you're gonna be like, alright, you're gonna start building self-confidence and shit. You're gonna start feeling better and better. And you're gonna carry yourself at a higher standard. Most of this is just people not carrying themselves to the level they should be at, you know what I mean? Like, that's so fucking degenerate, milking yourself. But anyway, you gotta shift your identity. When I was fucking trying my hardest to get on a streak and control my mind, and get out the fucking relapsing loop, I would fucking tell myself, I would be like, no, I just don't do it anymore. I just don't relapse. I just don't do that. That's not who I am. I don't do that. I was fucking delusional. Even though I relapsed same day, I'll be like, no, bro, I just don't relapse. I don't fucking do that. I'll just keep on telling myself over and over and over until I fucking hypnotize myself, pretty much. Alright? And I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna fucking do that. I don't do that shit. That's not who I am. And eventually, my body started believing it. Then I started going on a long streak, and it starts building and building and building. For example, I get on this camera, and I talk to you about semen retention, right? I talk to you about getting on higher streaks or whatnot. And basically, what this is doing is it's solidifying into my brain as if it's placebo that I'm someone who has full control of my urges, I'm someone who doesn't fucking relapse. That's what this is doing. I'm giving you advice. So my brain is like, oh, if I'm giving other people advice, I must be really good at this shit. I must not relapse then, Even though I don't. Even though if this camera was off, I still wouldn't relapse type shit, you know what I mean? I wouldn't be fucking animalistic and go out there and just wank immediately after this camera turns off. No. But you gotta do things that reinforce your identity that you're not gonna relapse. You gotta raise your standards. You gotta look at yourself as someone who's above relapsing. Relapsing is for scum. That's what you gotta go by, right? That's gonna be your motto for the next few weeks. If you just relapse, bro, you gotta start looking at yourself like scum, because if you relapse with the websites, the corn websites and gooning, listen, this is a disclaimer. I'm not saying you're scum if you relapse with a woman. I'm not saying that. It's something completely different, though. The thing I'm talking about is fapping, bro. If you're on the corn websites watching the most degenerate content ever known to man, and you're fucking wanking it in bed like a dickhead, start holding yourselves to higher standards, bro. Look at yourself as someone who's disciplined. Even if you don't believe it now, if you just keep on telling yourself, keep on doing things, like start hitting the gym, maybe take care of your appearance a little bit more, have higher standards for yourself, okay? I'm telling you, bro, if you keep on doing that, you're gonna go on higher and higher streaks. That's what I did, bro. That's literally what I fucking did, and I was able to fucking take control of my mind. I was basically tricking myself that I was in control of my brain. And eventually, my brain started believing that I was in control, and I started believing it, I'm in control. Alright? But it's gonna take time, man. That's one of the things about this journey, bro. You have to go through the relapses, bro. That's part of the journey. That's part of the practice, bro. If you don't relapse, if you don't ever relapse and you don't feel what it's like to have brain fog and feel like you're unconfident and you're drained and you're empty and it feels like this invisible force is just sapping your life force energy against your will, if you never go through that, if you never ever go through that, you're not gonna feel like getting on the journey. You're not gonna feel like retaining your seed. Right? You have to go through the bad in order to get to the good. Alright, but I'm telling you, it's gonna be a lot more easier if you just start self-identifying yourself as someone who's above relapsing, who doesn't stoop down to that low fucking demon degenerate level of milking yourself in bed like an idiot. You gotta start having higher standards for yourself, and the beautiful thing about it is that when you get on these higher streaks, and you have more energy, and you have more confidence, you're gonna have all these attributes that are gonna help you start hitting the gym, start looking better, start feeling more confident in social situations, less anxiety. So now you're really gonna be looking at yourself like, yeah, I'm the fucking shit. I'm the shit now. I'm not stooping down to this low level, okay? But listen, if you're still relapsing, bro, I completely understand. It's okay, bro. You know how many times I fucking relapse? Trying to learn how to control my brain and stop relapsing? Countless times, bro. Probably over 100 times in 4 years. Man, I made all the fucking mistakes, alright? But I'm telling you, bro, there's a light at the end of the tunnel, okay? If you just keep on going, if you don't give up, bro, I'm telling you, this is going to be one of the most fruitful practices you've ever done in your life. Alright, start holding yourself to higher standards. Shift your identity. Keep on repeating in your brain, I don't relapse. I just don't do that. I don't do that, bro. Remember the cons. Think about it logically, bro. If you relapse, you're gonna regret it. Relapsing itself is nasty. You're fucking your hand. Isn't that nasty? You're fucking your hand. It's fucking disgusting. You need to think with your logical brain. Stop thinking emotionally like, oh, the 3 seconds of pleasure. Oh, I just gotta do it. It feels so good. No, bro. Think about it logically. You're a fucking guy. Use your brain. And I'm just gonna leave it right there.